Yo, another video. Uh, just thought I will go ahead and put this one on the tube, man. So I was driving earlier today, going through the craziness, and I seen a homeless guy on the street light. Now this guy I see every single day. Okay, I see him literally every single day, and sometimes I give him $1, so sometimes I give him $5, sometimes I give him a coffee, sometimes like I give him like any change that I have, I give it to this guy, and this guy's like, oh, thank you so much, you're amazing, whatever, he says some nice things back, and like every time I give him something, I say to him, don't thank me, thank the Most High, and he's like, and I get it, cool, I get it. So I just keep it moving, There's other days that I pull by that street light and I'm like, yo, sorry, man, I don't got any money today. But, you know, so it's all good, right? And sometimes when I'm handing them money, like there's sometimes people that they give me the side eye and I truly don't care. It is what it is. It's my currency. I let it float wherever I send it to. But like I was thinking, right? Yo, sometimes you gotta be the hope in somebody's life, man. Like you just don't know like what somebody's going through. And like let me put it to you this way. You give a homeless person some money, right? And let's say on the other side of the road, there's like some little kid or like, I don't know, somebody, and they're looking at that action. That right there gives them hope for humanity in the times we're living in. You know what I mean? So like, that right there is not gonna hurt anybody. And like, there's always gonna be people that are like, yo, but they're gonna use it for drugs. Okay, well, like the Most High put you in that situation. So if you give that money to that person and that person goes and uses it for drugs, what if in that trip, you know, the Messiah shows up and starts talking to him and says to him, "Hey, listen, you gotta get your life together because this life you're living is no bueno. So you gotta like do a 360." What if in that trip that they're having, they start thinking about their childhood, and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I'm gonna check myself into a rehab center. You just don't know, right? So like be the hope in somebody's life, okay? Just to keep it short and sweet. Sometimes we get caught up, and that's just like the reptilian mammal brain, whatever you want to put it as, that like, well, like nobody does nothing for me, so I'm not gonna do it. And I get that to an extent, but real talk, like in this huge planet we call Earth, in this house, we're all in this together. Like real talk. And I know, like, there's wars going on, X, Y, and Z. But in all the reality, though, a little bit of hope here and there, man, like gives a lot of people a lot of like inspiration to go the next step in their life. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're like, I don't know, when you see like let's say you see a squirrel, and the squirrel, you see literally a squirrel breaking down a nut, and the squirrel like breaks the nut, and all of a sudden you see that squirrel crushing that nut and giving it to like another squirrel. You're kind of like, yo, nature is happening in front of me. So that's what I'm saying. Be the hope in somebody's life, we're all going through stuff, I heard one time, I didn't hear, I read one time in this book, I can't remember the name, it was by this like Sikh guy. He's a writer from Toronto, and he's like, uh we're all doing the same we're all doing the same dance, but we think that we're listening to a different song, you know? So we're all going through struggles that are very relatable, you know, but because we don't speak about it, we don't really know, right? Well, at least like sometimes I see videos on the internet of people like talking all that shit about gas prices, X, Y, and Z, right? But nobody gives each other hope, It's all like kind of like negative, like a trauma bonding. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's the video for today. Be the hope in somebody's life, And I hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Peace.